been injured in an accident, one thing leads to another. Your injury leads to treatment. Treatment leads to hospital bills. Bills lead to debt. Debt leads to stress. The advocates can help relieve that stress. Having an advocate attorney on your side leads to faster resolutions, fair outcomes, and a peaceful recovery for you. You deserve an advocate.
Hey, the Monty Show live on Wednesday, June 3rd, all by myself again. The lazy millennial's off today again, so what do you want me to do? Here I am for you, presented as always by the Advocates at theadvocates.com, the best injury attorneys in the business, 24/7, 365, and the Advocates remind you this is the 100 most deadly days on our roadways, so please slow down, remove the distractions, look left, look right, look right, look right, look left, slow down. Pay attention, and if the worst happens, get the best at theadvocates.com, 24/7, 365. And the best part is you never reach into your pocket to pay the advocates because you don't pay the advocates unless and until they win your case. So when it's time for you to fight the insurance companies, because when you get in an accident, you're going to fight the insurance companies. Make no mistake about it. You didn't deserve to get in that accident. You didn't deserve to have the insurance companies fight to keep all of their money and give you none. You do deserve an advocate. Get to the Advocates 24/7, 365 at theadvocates.com. All right, a lot to get to today. Jake is off. Hopefully he comes back tomorrow, but apparently in Missouri they don't use electricity. So, it just, it is what it is and what it be. Unfortunately, let's go to work on this Cruz-Cantwell thing because we got a lot to get to today. And I feel like politics and sports, and I know that this is not terribly popular. And frankly, I don't love talking politics. It is so divisive and a lot of people get angry. But I think when you look at this Save College Sports America thing and you start looking at what Cruz-Cantwell really represents, this is a huge step for politicians into the world of professional sports. And it's not something we see often. We talk about it all the time. We talk about politicians wanting to, change sports, or we talk about politicians who used to be professional athletes. Okay, that's all well and good. This Cruz-Cantwell legislation, which I think is terrible. I think the Cruz-Cantwell stuff is awful for college sports. I think it does very little to address the main issue. And right now, let's not get it twisted what the main issues in college sports are. It is compensation and the right of the athlete. No, those are the beginning and the end of the issues in college athletics. And I look at what Cruz-Cantwell does. All that does is take away rights from the athletes. What rights does it deliver to the athlete? What protections does it deliver to the athlete? Nothing. It delivers nothing. And listen very intently. Look across the landscape of college sports right now and ask yourself, who's really supporting Cruz-Cantwell? Nick Saban yesterday wrote a letter, came out passionately in favor of Cruz-Cantwell. Why did Nick Saban retire? Because he didn't want to have to deal with NIL and paying athletes. That's who's supporting Cruz-Cantwell. All of the people supporting Cruz-Cantwell are the ones who either don't believe in paying athletes, didn't want to deal with it, don't want it to happen. The same old retread bros and gals that don't believe that these guys should be paid anything but a scholarship. And I'm telling you, this fixes nothing. This creates more problems because sitting here reading the last couple of days, I've been trying to read the entire piece of legislation, and you understand very quickly why the NCAA loves it. You understand very quickly why university presidents love it. You understand very quickly why most college commissioners don't love it. You understand quickly why a lot of athletic directors don't love it, because those are the guys that support the athletes. For instance, such as in like The Big Ten and the SEC came out in unison, oddly enough, through an SEC statement that says they don't like the Protect College Sports Act, which is shocking because these two guys don't tend to be on the same page about anything. The bill leaves critical issues unresolved. Look at the second paragraph. It does not meaningfully preempt the patchwork of state laws or provide protections needed to make and enforce consistent rules, both essential to long-term stability in college athletics. It also shifts ongoing rulemaking to Congress, politicians, limiting the ability to adapt quickly as the landscape evolves. I could not have said it better myself. It provides no real protections. It solves no real problems. It truly solves no real problems. And when you start looking at the fact that it gives 99% of the power back to the NCAA, it limits the earning potential and the earning power of the athletes. And there is no question that it does not create a collective bargaining environment, which, again, and I know I continue to be the only one who says it, and I'm happy to die on this hill. If we don't have collective bargaining, there is no point to new legislation. Because until the right of the athlete is codified and collective bargaining is put into place to protect the rights of the athlete, you have nothing. You have nothing, because the athlete is essential. I know this is shocking. The athlete is essential to the success and failure of college sports. Yet, all we're trying to do with Cruz-Cantwell is give the old white hair guys who caused these problems in the first place all the power back. And again, I just point out to you who's doing it. Who are the ones pushing for it? All the old haired white guys. That generation does not want to pay college athletes what they are worth. They do not want to provide protections. They just don't. And I'll never understand it. And I want to, and I just don't. I don't think that this is the answer in any way, shape, or form. I don't believe this is the answer. I truly do not. And if you're not familiar with Cruz-Cantwell, what it essentially does is creates an independent oversight body to enforce rules rather than relying on the NCAA governance. And what it does is explicitly says athletes are not employees, because Ted Cruz has an absolute engorged member over the fact that these athletes cannot be employees, which I actually agree with. It gives, but this is the big part. All the protections in Cruz-Cantwell are for the NCAA and the conferences. None of them are for the athletes. None of it. And all this does with antitrust protection for the NCAA and the conferences, and no protections for the athletes, it hands all of the power back to the old white hairs. That's what this does, right? But what is it? What is the main? We're going to hammer down on how much we pay athletes. Rigid rules around revenue sharing. Rigid rules around what kind of NIL deals and what structures of NIL deals can be executed. Rigidity that you will so, in my opinion, so strongly damage the earning potential of an athlete with these kinds of rules. And I hate it. I really hate it. And all this is, I'm telling you, you think, and this is just me, but you think 24 teams is a disaster for the college football playoff. In my opinion, it absolutely means that the regular season means nothing. I think Cruz-Cantwell does 5 10 times the damage that a 2014 playoff will do. It is that bad. I believe that the Cruz-Cantwell legislation just does nothing to help college football. I believe it. I actually think it's a step backward. I don't think it's a step forward. It just is. It just is. It's the wrong thing to do. The athletes, at what point are we willing to say that the athlete in college football, basketball, all college athletics, the athlete is the motor that generates the revenue? Without the athlete, you have no protections revenue-wise if you're the old white hairs. Where are you going to make your money? And yet, all we're trying to do is put in these regressive pieces of legislation to make sure the athlete doesn't make any money. What are you hoping to achieve by this? You're hoping to make it so athletes can't transfer. You're hoping to make it so that athletes can't make money. Because I don't think anybody who's read this legislation, you can't even argue this is good for the athlete. I don't know how you would argue this is good for a college athlete. I really don't. I'm not sure how you would even, what would you even say? Because I literally have the legislation sitting right here in front of me. I don't even know, what would you say to make this the argument this is good for the athlete? I really don't know what it would, or how you would go about the argument. That I would love to hear somebody make the argument for, because I truly don't know what it would be. And I just don't, because I don't think it exists. This is, you guys, I'm telling you, it's just the wrong thing to do. It's the wrong thing to do. And the truth is, like, you read things from people like Nick Saban, so passionately in favor of it. So passionately in favor of it. And he says, I'm not representing any conference or any team. I'm just a former college coach who cares about college sports. I have spent most of my adult life in college athletics. I believe in it because I've seen what it can do for young people. This is what college athletics is supposed to be out. It's not just supposed to be who wins on Saturday. For me and many of my colleagues, it was about developing young people. And then listen to this next sentence and tell me, does this make sense? Nick Saban, I'm quoting from testimony in front of the U.S. Senate. I want to be clear. Student athletes should be able to profit from their own name, image, and likeness. I've said it many times. Student athletes should be compensated for NIL. If a player earns a legitimate endorsement, builds a brand, signs with a company, or is paid for real promotional work, that's a good thing. Yet, Cruz-Cantwell works directly in the opposite direction of that. Cruz-Cantwell works hard to limit that. And note that I also point out Nick Saban quit because he allegedly did not want to deal with paying athletes. It's as simple as that. He didn't want to. He didn't want to deal with transfers. He didn't want to. If you were so concerned about the compensation model for athletes, why not put hard rules in place on pay for play? Why not say you cannot, that a outside of revenue sharing, a school cannot compensate an athlete? If you were that concerned about it, put rules in place and enforce those rules. Allow kids to go to Billy Bob's Cadillac dealer and do a deal for name, image, and likeness. Instead, what do we have? We have a clearinghouse that says, okay, yeah, you can do that deal. No, you can't do that deal. Freedom is this mythical thing. So these kids can earn money. Yeah, if we say you can earn money, that's not freedom. That's not commerce. That's just not what it is. That's not capitalism. And that's what Cruz-Cantwell is saying. Yeah, you can. Oh, we're going to allow them to earn money as long as we say they can earn money. That's what Cruz-Cantwell is. Oh, you want to protect? We're going to protect name, image, and likeness, but you're going to have to tell us what those deals are, and we have to approve every one, and we're probably not going to do that. All right, good luck. That's what Cruz-Cantwell is. Instead, give them collective bargaining, give them real revenue and profit sharing, and allow them to go do deals that make them money. Allow them to have agents. Allow their agents to go and negotiate deals for them. Certify, make it so in a collective bargaining agreement, make it so their agents have to be certified. And make their agents have to act in a way that makes them and the term is a fiduciary. Make the agent not be Uncle Timmy who's out at the strip club getting candy. To make it be like you're a professional. And you can do that if you have collective bargaining. That's one of the mechanisms that collective bargaining creates. It creates the College Football Players Association, so that the people who represent players have to be certified and registered with the College Football Players Association or the College Basketball Players Association. It's not rocket science. Yet, why will we not do that? We will not do that because it gives too much power, too much authority, and it creates influence among players. And that's exactly what guys like Nick Saban don't want. They don't want it. And I'm not telling you this makes Nick Saban a bad guy. What I'm telling you is this makes Nick Saban the same as the old white hairs have always been. And I just don't think it fixes anything. I really don't. All right. First one in today, Randy Riding. Do we need a fundraiser on today's show to get Jake an alarm clock? Millennials are lazy. They just don't want to get out of bed. You know, they don't want to wake up. They don't want to do jobs. Jake wants to sleep in, smoke weed, and play Call of Duty all day. You know, he just wants to sit on crash and snipe dudes instead of doing his job. And look, I respect it. I get it. You know, Jake is having power issues. Allegedly, his power's out. I mean, who believes that? Who really believes that? Stayed up too late smoking grandma's lettuce last night? Yeah, probably, right? No, Jake's power's out. He's probably raging right now that I'm even saying that. Saban is a hypocrite. The king of car dealerships is also amending the House settlement by making regular revenue. Sharing half to go by the CSC for approval, not just NIL. It creates a whole new... all it does is put hurdles in front of athletes to make money. The Cruz-Cantwell bill, I think it's just a huge mistake, in my opinion. It's a huge mistake. Hey, look at that. Corey Hamill, good to see you, my friend. Thank you for the $2. He says, no shoes nation. Ooh. I hate it. I hate bare feet. I'm not Rex Ryan. I've never understood is foot fetish too strong this early? It might be. I've never understood the foot thing. And if somebody wants to help me understand that, I'm not really interested, so don't. But the whole foot thing, toes don't belong in your mouth. Thanks for all you do, fellas. Love the show. You mean Monty? I'm the only one that shows up every day. You know, it's fine. I'm just here, you know. Marcus Williams, for once I agree with you, Monty. Wow. Look at that. Look at that. He agrees with me. Cryptic Warden, Jeremiah Champion. Annoyed Jake is arguably the best Jake. Yes, it is. He's very violent when he's annoyed. Unshaven and stuff. Now, I take him as an edible kind of guy. Yeah, brownies all day. Brownies all day, right? Helps grow the chest hair. Guy's a flipping gorilla. Hit the like button right meow. Oh God. Is it Cat Wednesday? Happy 21 times a month day, fellas. Everyone hit the like button. Yes. 21 times a month. Every month. Matt Ritson, hello. Frog Father, good morning, Morty and Jake. Hello, Frog. Good to see you. Boomer Sooner, hello. Are you over the OKC Thunder loss yet? How are we feeling about that? D-Rock Irish, hello. Hello. Pete Bavacqua's on the record, by the way, about Cruz-Cantwell. Bavacqua is supportive of the bill. He says the bill also solves financial crisis, which for far too long has been overlooked by me and my peers, causing deficits to balloon to unsustainable levels. College sports will lose over $5 billion this year alone. Yeah, so take the money away from the players. Just take it all away from the players. To be clear, Bavacqua continues, this will not break the conferences or our traditions. It will preserve and strengthen them. Yeah, the tradition of fucking over players. That was probably too blunt this early in the show. That is a tradition in college sports, however. Big Daddy Dallas, hello. Jake is a treasured guest on his own damn show. Yes, he is. Couldn't get him to come on the show this morning. He said he was too busy for me. So, Rock and Ran, it's not just the SEC and the Big Ten. The support letter does not have schools like Clemson. Florida State, Miami, and others signed on to it, and they're not far from the power too. Well, so here's the question. Like with this kind of comment, and if you're just tuning in this morning, the Big Ten and the SEC have come out in a joint statement against Cruz-Cantwell. While we appreciate the leadership of Senator Cruz and Cantwell in pursuing these shared goals, we do not support the Protect College Sports Act as drafted. Create collective bargaining. Do it. Do it. And what is the obvious inference with this statement? Because I saw this all over the Death Star of social media yesterday. You guys know what everybody is saying. Right? Oh, well, Monty, the SEC and the Big Ten, they're breaking away, boy. Right? That's what everybody is saying. And while I don't necessarily believe that that's what this is, I think this is another step in that direction. If we're being honest, I think that's another step in this direction. I don't have any doubt that the SEC and the Big Ten have a common interest in making sure that this bill does not pass, because I think it's terrible for college sports. And I think there's a misnomer, maybe, or what's the right way to say it? I think there's just a lack of understanding about what the Big Ten and the SEC breaking away means. Because it certainly does not mean, well, they control everything. That's not what it means. It does not mean that the Big 12 and the ACC will no longer be able to play and they're going to do. It's not what it means. What it means is the Big Ten and the SEC will break away from the NCAA and create their own entity that will have a set of rules and laws that they will enforce. And players, in my opinion, will have to sign more stringent, ironclad contracts. And my belief is, and I was talking to Marcus about this the other day. We were talking about the college football TV schedule. And we started talking about this Cruz-Cantwell thing. And he was telling me there'll be, if the Big Ten and the SEC break away, they would have to offer athletes something that they can't get anywhere else. You would have to make it so that athletes view your new entity. If you're the Big Ten and the SEC, you would have to make it so that athletes view you as more desirable than the old white hairs at the NCAA. How do you do that? You give them unfettered access to make more money. You create an atmosphere that rewards and protects their best interests. That's what you do. And my belief is, whether it is traditional collective bargaining, whatever that might be, you put in rules and laws and regulations in a new entity that give college athletes significant protections. And you enforce those rules. And you put in a dispute structure that prevents all these lawsuits that we're seeing from college athletes. You have to do it. And if you don't do that, there would be no point in breaking away. There'd be no point in breaking away. And it's why I'm surprised, because I've been telling you, if the Big Ten and SEC break away, Notre Dame will go with them. Notre Dame will go with them, because there's nothing, and there would be no reason, if you're Notre Dame, to stay with the NCAA at that point. Why would you stay at that point? You wouldn't, right? I think it is, when you look at whether you want to call it employment, I don't think anybody believes that athletes should be employees of universities. That's just not good for anybody. They need to have collective bargaining status, because I think at the end of the day, you have to move college football specifically forward. Because I think college football is this beast in this thing that is so much bigger than basketball and every other sport combined, frankly. But I think you have to engage with college football players in earnest, with honesty, with ethics, integrity, for an end goal, with the end goal of creating a system where everybody has a chance to thrive unequally. I'm not saying college athletes should be given advantages over the universities. I don't believe that, but they should be able to go to Billy Bob's Cadillac dealer. Now, are you going to have kids that show up with Lambos and they get in trouble and they never pan out? Yes, that's going to happen. But that happens in the NFL. That happens in all sports. And again, I'm going to tell you, give them freedom and let them deal with consequences. It's called becoming an adult. Give them freedom and let them deal with consequences. Unintended consequences, ugly as hell. But that's the world we live in. Every day, we make decisions and we deal with consequences. Why should college athletics be different? It should not be different. So why are we trying to repress these student athletes? Do you understand that is the core of all of who's suing? Who's the one litigating? The athlete for rights we don't always believe in. Hey, I want to play my 37th season as a kicker at Valdosta State. We don't always agree with it or believe in it, but why are they doing it? Because they can get away with it. So create a system, I don't know, something like collective bargaining that stops that from happening. It's not rocket science, bud. It's not rocket science. And I am telling you, these conversations need to begin now about collective bargaining. It has to happen. It absolutely has to happen. I think when you look at student athletes or athletes, football players generate significant revenue, and you better protect that revenue stream. You better. Hey, look at Calford. he gifts 20 Monty Show memberships. Where's Mike Smith now? Mike, you were saying that you ran out of Google Play bread. There's your guy right there. Nice job, Calford. Always good to see you. Hope you are doing well. I'm just telling you now, the community on this show is what makes this show. And I know that sounds simplistic or altruistic. It's not. I don't want a collective bargain with you. I just want you guys to give us free memberships. Because Calford's a stud. And without guys like Calford, this show doesn't exist. If we are being truthful, without guys like Calford, this show does not exist. That's, Marcus Williams. Boy, Monty, you're cooking with grease this morning. I'm fed up, Marcus. I'll be honest with you. I am fed up. I am so fed up with it. I'm tired of repressing. I'm tired of holding people down. And I'm tired of in this country, standing on the backs of other people and calling ourselves champions. I'm tired of that. Why can we not acknowledge that at the university level, you have a mutually beneficial agreement with an athlete? Right? That's as simple as it is. When the athlete thrives, you thrive. So why are you trying to screw these kids out of thriving? I'll never understand it. And I'm not, again, Marcus and everybody else, I'm not trying to be a utopic, perfect world guy. I don't believe collective bargaining is the perfect scenario. It's the necessary step. It is the necessary step. Because I ask you again, when the best athletes are given the best amenities, they thrive, they perform at an incredibly high level. Why are we trying to not have that happen? Because take quarterbacks, because I think quarterbacks, obviously, I know. Here's put your hands at 10 and 2, because this is shocking. What I'm about to say is going to be an electric shock to the system. Quarterbacks are very important to the success and failure of football teams. Right? So here's what I ask. Since it is the case, and let's say, because every college football team needs a quarterback. Again, I know you're never going to get this content anywhere else but right here with old Uncle Morty. If quarterbacks are so important and so vital to football teams, and we want them to do well, and we'll go to court to defend their right to break the only rule that matters, Sorsby, if we're going to go to court to defend their right to break the only rule that we say they can't break, then we're going to turn around and try and not give them money and not give them the ability to thrive and support their families. But we're happy to give them a lifetime of injuries. We're happy to, again, stand on their backs and say that we're 6 feet tall, even though we're 1 foot tall and they're 5 feet tall, and that makes us 6 feet tall. But forget the guy I'm standing on. I'm the one that's 6 feet tall. That's what this argument is. Rock and Rant, I don't think those are two breaking away, but I think they're going to leverage the living hell out of the threat to do so to change legislation. I don't think they will. I don't think they will. I've talked to enough people. People don't understand when do you guys understand what breaking away means? It doesn't mean that they're going to take their ball and go home. Shut up, Joel Klatt, It doesn't mean they're going to take their ball and go home. It doesn't mean they're not going to play Big 12 teams. They're only going to play each other. They're only going to play each other. What it means is they're going to create a new entity that allows them to govern in a way that they see fit. They are going to enforce those rules. They are going to create infrastructure They are going to create people to enforce those rules. And if you want to play in their league, you will abide by those rules. And through a contract or whatever that might be, you will agree not to litigate. You arbitration, mediation, whatever that might be. You will agree not to litigate. They will collectively bargain with their athletes. Whether it's called that, whether it's traditional to that, they will collectively bargain with their athletes. Wow, did you give us 20 more? Let's go. If you don't have a membership at this point, you're just not trying to get one. You are not trying to get one. My guy, way to go. I appreciate that very much. You guys, I don't think you understand, and at some point soon you will understand the grind of what goes on this show behind the scenes is difficult. And I'm not asking for sympathy but when you guys understand what something like 40 memberships does for this show, when you begin to understand that Jake I won't allow him to do these NIL deals he keeps bringing me. I repress them. When you understand when you guys tip us, when you guys give us memberships, that money goes right back into infrastructure, 100% to grow the channel. And when you look at the struggle that YouTube has become, you will understand how important guys like Calford are to the show. And we greatly, greatly appreciate that. Jake needs to invest in off-grid power options. He truly does. He truly does. Calford coming up clutch with all these membership giveaways. Indeed, he is the GOAT. Calford, yes. I could have used that generosity last week, Calford. Yeah, how dare you show up a week late after Mike Smith actually signed up out of his own pocket. Sorry, dude. Marcus Williams. Because the bill has shown us a microcosm of what Americans are becoming, I've seen red-blooded American males literally say we got to punish the Big Ten and the SEC because they're making too much money on a regular basis. On a regular basis. Anyway, to get back to the original point here, and then I would like to say I'm tired of talking about this. What it means for the Big Ten and the SEC breaking away is they're going to go into this self-governing model that we've talked about. It doesn't mean they're not going to play people. It doesn't mean that they're going to be exclusive, because why would you be exclusive? That makes absolutely no sense. It is this whole thing where you begin to understand that you have to operate on a different level these days. Because if you continue to try and hold kids down and repress athletes, you're not going to succeed. You're not going to succeed. And I think college basketball has been an interesting example of that, because how much damage has one and done inflicted on college basketball? Well, I think it's a huge amount of damage. I think it's a huge amount of damage, in my opinion. Jeremy says, Marcus giving up us deep thoughts this morning. Indeed. He also says, would they be protected from federal laws even if the Big Ten and the SEC break away? Does breaking away really matter if there are federal laws in place? It does. It absolutely does. We'll see. Nothing's been hammered out. Nothing's been decided, but I can tell you right now, I'm tired of talking about NIL. I'm tired of talking about repressing young people in this country. You look at, and again, I started the show and I will again warn you, you look at politics and life in this country. Compare that to what's going on with college athletics right now and tell me it's not the same thing. Tell me it's not the same thing. Look at the mayor's race in Los Angeles. We have another guy who's not an actor who's probably going to wind up running for mayor because he's going to get enough votes to do so. And Spencer Pratt. Do we really want Spencer Pratt to be the mayor of Los Angeles? Have we learned anything from our past mistakes? Have we learned anything? We haven't. So are we going to continue to vote for celebrities and actors to be politicians? Apparently. Can he beat Karen Bass? I don't know. We'll find out. Are we going to continue to repress athletes in college sports so the old white hairs can keep making money? Apparently. Are Congress people going to give them rules and laws to codify that right? Yes. Apparently. It's the same thing. We never learn. We just keep sticking our hand in the bandsaw and we lose a little bit more of our fingers every time we do it. Oh, no, this is a time my finger won't. Oh, this is the one. My fingers. You just keep sticking your hand in the saw blade, bud. And we don't learn anything. We learn absolutely nothing. Nothing. And yet Spencer Pratt is going to wind up going to a general election with Karen Bass. That's what it looks like. I was reading the election results this morning. We just keep doing it. Can John Wick run for president, please? Like, at least then people will die and they'll be put out of their misery, right? Like, it's bizarre to me because we're so sophisticated as human beings and we keep sticking our hand in the saw blade and expecting a different result. It's the same thing with college athletics, man. I'm telling you. It's Brendan Sorsby suing because the NCAA is enforcing their rules too well. That's, Brandon Sorsby's argument. Jeremy, the newest member of the Monty show. Hello. Thank you very much, Jeremy. Appreciate that. By the way, when Jake actually, and I don't know that he'll ever get off of his bender that he's on right now. From what I understand, he picked up a hippie chick and he's driving the PCH right now and just dubage everywhere. But my point is, if you join the membership, you have two levels, a basic membership and a Monty Show exclusive members only membership tier, God tier thing that gets you into our Instagram group. And it's fantastic. We have a great community on this show. So you have two membership tier choices. And Jeremy, we appreciate you, man. Thank you so much for joining the membership. Really appreciate you interacting with the show. Chewy, who's been a member for 18 months. Let's go. Ipe's lawyer, Chewy Gonzalez, for 18 months. Ipe's a Dodger reference, and Chewy's a huge Dodger fan. I feel like we are living in a movie, Idiocracy. It's wild to me. It's wild. Like, have you guys followed you haven't, if you don't live in LA. The LA mayor's race is wild to me. So Karen Bass, the incumbent, has advanced to a whatever it is, the general election, I think it's called, is what the technical term is, a general election. But Spencer Pratt, I think when I looked this morning, has like 30% of the vote. Yeah, Karen Bass wins the election, wins with 35% of the vote. Spencer Pratt, she got 172,720 votes, the mayor of Los Angeles. Spencer Pratt got 151,000 votes. 151,000 of you jerk-offs voted for Spencer Pratt from the hills to be your mayor. What? Help me. Help me. Have we not learned reality TV stars don't make good politicians? I'll never understand it. Jimmy Otson, if you pay for a membership now, you can fund a second host of the Monty Show. That's right. That's right. The stuff that has come to pass from the Idiocracy satire comedy is astounding. Mike Judge was on it back then. He was. I just think, yeah. I could be reading this bill wrong, but I think the bill carves out limited antitrust exemptions for the NCAA. So if breakaway P2 wouldn't be bound by some of the rules, correct, like pooling media rights. This is how jackwagon this Cruz-Cantwell bill is. It does not require the Big Ten and the SEC to pool their media rights. But pooling media rights is supposedly a staple of this bill, unless you're the SEC and the Big Ten. The antitrust exemptions in this bill would not bound anybody to the NCAA. You would not be bound to the NCAA in any way, shape, or form. It does nothing. This bill, I'm telling you guys, this bill is not ideal. Effing Ken Paxton, another slimy politician who was guilty of so much but only got off because of all of his political buddies. Yeah. Politics and sports are similar and very connected. Very connected. Very connected. Like you again, legislation. Look at this legislation. This Cruz-Cantwell thing. It is not unlike any garden variety piece of legislation in Washington. It does nothing for the people who need it most, which is what most legislation does. Like many things that are proposed in Congress and DC, most is for show and does not have much bite behind the bark. Not sure about this Cruz-Cantwell one. It's exactly what it is. It's exactly what it is. Big Ten and SEC break away and take some schools from the Big 12 ACC and create a new power conference entity. Could be. Could absolutely be. There's no question that is possible. There is no question that's possible. Karen Bass and Spencer Pratt both suck. I'll run for mayor. Torta 2026, side of guac. Right? Stop voting for people like Spencer Pratt. Who, no, I'm not doing it. Pratt got votes because Bass has been an absolute disaster. She hasn't been an absolute disaster. Has she been perfect? Far from it. Karen Bass. Ken, I understand the Hurricanes lost last night. And you didn't get a lot of sleep because of it. But let's be real. Karen Bass has not been a disaster in any way, shape, or form. She is the crime stats alone, the homelessness numbers alone, her advocacy for the underprivileged alone. Come on. What do we, yeah. Sorry for my ignorance. Who is Spencer Pratt? Exactly right. Spencer Pratt is a dude who was on The Hills, Heidi and Spencer, Spidey. His family lost their home in the fire last year in Los Angeles, Pacific Palisades. And he's railed against everybody. At the time, Karen Bass was out of the country. Disaster. You want to point to a mistake Karen Bass made? Going out of the country with that situation, not coming back right away, not well done. Frankly, I don't have a dog in the fight. I don't want Spencer Pratt to be the mayor of anything. Karen Bass has not been a disaster. Yes, vote for Chewy. Let's go, Chewy. That's exactly right. YouTube algorithm adding up strikes for the Monty show today, dude. I can't begin. YouTube is a bane of my existence right now. The algorithm and the methodology of how you get people to watch your stuff, thumbnails, the SEO, use AI, don't use AI. It's maddening. It is. My income is directly tied to their algorithm, and it's brutal. It is absolutely brutal. I'm not complaining about the money we make. We do well. I'm not, none of that. What I'm telling you is the algorithm and the changes that YouTube has made is killing creators. It is absolutely killing creators. It is so, I can't even tell you. I cannot even tell you how difficult it is to deal with Google in the first place. You cannot get on the phone with them. They're all in some country I can't pronounce, and you can't get phone calls with them. You can't have conversations with them. It is brutal. It is so frustrating to have to deal with YouTube, to have to try and figure out how their algo works, and it's ridiculous. That's why I need you guys to hit the like button, please. Subscribe if you're not. If you're commenting, obviously you're subscribed because you can only comment if you're subscribed. So please subscribe. Please hit the bell so that you get notified when we post content. And please give this video a thumbs up. Kuz's Corner Sports. What's up, dude? Haven't seen you in a while. I feel you, Monty. And I appreciate that. Thank you. Mike Smith, you just got to get everyone to come up with an alternate word for specific things. See it done on many channels now. Yeah, exactly right. Exactly right. Chewy 2030. Yes. Fight against the algorithm by hitting the like button. Exactly right. Creators got to get creative. And how? And how? Did you give us 50 more? Dude, Calford gives 50 more. Monty, she's given us essentially 100 memberships today. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Well done. Man, that means so much. Thank you so much for that. That's amazing. Thank you. All right, if you're just tuning into the show, as always, the Monty Show presented by The Advocates at theadvocates.com. The best injury attorneys in the business. If you get in an accident, if you get hurt at work, yes, they handle workman's comp. That's one of the most common questions people ask me about The Advocates. Hey, I got hurt at work. Do they handle workman's comp? Yes, they do. Yes, they do. Trips and falls. Crack sidewalks. You want to talk about elections? Crack sidewalks in Los Angeles. Huge point in the election. Not even joking. Trip and fall on a tree root growing through a sidewalk. Theadvocates.com. Hook it up. And the best part is you never reach in your pocket to pay the advocates because you don't pay the advocates unless and until they win your case. We are talking about this situation where the Big Ten and the SEC have come out against the Cruz-Cantwell legislation in a joint statement released through the SEC, which seems interesting to me that you would release a joint statement through the SEC. I mean, this pretty much spells it out, right? The Big Ten Conference and the Southeast Conference support a sustainable national framework for college sports, one with an effective transfer portal, clear eligibility standards, and protections and benefits for student athletes. While we appreciate the leadership of Senator Cruz and Cantwell in pursuing these shared goals, we do not support the Protect College Sports Act as drafted. And immediately, people started theorizing that, oh boy, here we go, Monty. Hey, Monty, here we go. They're going to break away. College sports is going to end as we know it, Monty. No more flyover conference, boy. Right? Like that's immediately where people went. And I don't necessarily disagree that the Big Ten and the SEC are plotting, but shouldn't they be? Shouldn't the Big Ten and the SEC be plotting? If they're not, why are they not? And to tell you how serious that threat is, this Cruz-Cantwell legislation with no balls whatsoever gives the SEC and the Big Ten more power than the other conferences involved. Any other conference, in fact. They don't have to pool their media rights. Like, go read the legislation. It's outrageous. It's outrageous. It does. To me, it does absolutely nothing. John Life 2349. Welcome to the show. When the Big 12 and ACC merger after adding UConn, which Texas team do you eliminate? I don't believe there will be a merger. Oak State James for Fort Worth mayor. Exactly right. Calford fire, yes. While Calford must have had a huge child support back pay check. There you go. It's exactly right. I have never seen someone gift this much. Tell Calford thank you. It's incredible. It's absolutely incredible. New show title, The Monty and Calford Show. Jake sounds vaguely familiar. I don't know. Jake died. He choked on a taquito off a roller. Got sepsis from fecal matter at QT. Right? Calford must have hit his parlay with Vegas Athletics winning last night. I just love that, Phil, you come in here every day and try to poke the Cubs, and I'll never understand it, but Ken Maynor says it means more, I guess, when the SEC releases a joint statement. Exactly. Calford says you know it. Yeah, that child support coming in handy on the Monty Show. Right? Tom Dean, good morning, Tom. Cruz, let me appeal to Texas and Texas A&M. SEC, shut up, Ted. Exactly right. Calford going balls deep. Thank you, Big Sac State James. Where's James been? This is day 2 of James on strike, probably because Jake's not here today. Yes, Jake is off today. Power out. He's having here's the God's honest truth. He's having power issues at his new place in Kansas City because he's crypto mining. So the power and the brownouts, crypto mines take a lot of power. Guess what? The big and the SEC are plotting together. 16 versus 24 is not a big issue at this moment. I think it takes the what's the right way to say it? It takes the emphasis off of 24 versus 12. I'm telling you, 24 is a disaster. 24 is an absolute disaster. It is brutal. Absolutely brutal. James is MIA. Send a search party. Exactly right. I have to build back up my count. The other accounts are charting. There you go. It's exactly right. Phil says you've been on my UNLV Rebels for a long time. Yes, I do support UNLV. 100%. I think UNLV is doing a lot of great things. 100% I support UNLV. Pastor James, yes, whose life work is to eliminate pedophilia from the priesthood. James White, Pastor James White, a Big Oak State fan. James and BDM are chilling together. Hey, tonight's a big night. Are you guys excited for the NBA Finals? Knicks and Spurs. And I think the NBA Finals, I think it is one of the most important NBA Finals in at least a decade. At least a decade. San Antonio, huge moment in time in the city and for the Spurs. Victor Wembanyama has a chance to be a breakout star. It's at home in San Antonio, 4.5 points to the Spurs in game 1. And I think the NBA has to be hard rooting for the Knicks. It has to be. Because here's the question I would ask about Victor Wembanyama. And I know, again, people will lose their shit over me saying it. Can Victor Wembanyama be a breakout star? He does not speak good English. He is not compelling. He's not somebody that you are dying to get his shoe or his jersey. Can Victor Wembanyama ever be the face of the NBA? I'm telling you the answer is no, he cannot. No, he cannot. I'm just telling you. He cannot be, I don't believe he can ever be the face of the NBA because he's just so understated. And you all lost your mind when I said Cooper Flagg's the guy they need to be the face of the NBA. Victor Wembanyama, in my opinion, can never be the face of the NBA. And tonight, again, game 1 at home, San Antonio, who's favored by 4.5 points. There's no excuse for Victor Wembanyama not to put up 30 and 15. To have just a massive game. There is no excuse for it. If you are the NBA, I don't know that I would even, it's probably too much to say. I don't know that Victor Wembanyama is the guy you even want to be the breakout star. Because is this any different than like Yao Ming? At least Yao Ming brought you China. A massive global superstar, Yao Ming. Victor Wembanyama is not that guy. Victor Wembanyama, as this Gen Xer, I say Victor Wembanyama has zero appeal. I am in no way. I'm in no way even curious about Victor Wembanyama. Victor Wembanyama doesn't make me turn on the TV. Frankly, nothing in the NBA right now makes me turn on the TV. The watching the Stanley Cup final last night, that made me turn on the TV. VGK doing the Canes dirty, that kept me watching on the TV last night. When they were down 2-0, how many of us thought this was going to be a 5-0 game one win for the Canes? Right? And it didn't go that way. It was compelling hockey. It was compelling championship level hockey. The fact that the Golden Knights got an incredible shot block on the last play of the game, the fact that Carolina won that draw and the play was executed exactly as it was designed and led to their desired result, which was a slap shot, an open look at the net, and a puck that was ticketed for the upper corner until Buddy from Vegas donated his knee to the cause. That's compelling. That is compelling. The Stanley Cup playoffs and the Stanley Cup final have been far better than anything happening in the NBA playoffs. Than anything happening in the NBA playoffs. And Victor Wembanyama does not change that calculus for me. I will watch tonight because it's the NBA finals. But it won't. I'm not specifically turning on the TV for a guy that I have zero relational. I can't relate to Victor Wembanyama at all. Now, is Jalen Brunson somebody I want to model my life after? No. But it's the Knicks. And I think the Knicks are the story that the NBA has needed, in my opinion. It's the story the NBA has needed. But, it's fine. It is what it is. James must have got stuck in the rectory. Yeah. Don't know where he is. Jake moved to Hammond, Indiana. Could have been. John Life, I don't know who you are, dude. And I know you're new to the show. 16 is by far not the perfect number. Interesting. No Jake, no James. Are they one and the same? Could be. They're probably, like I said, Jake's in his convertible driving PCH, smoking doobage. That's what he does. BDM been missing for some time unless he was, trust me. Buddy is not missing. Where is, let's see. If I pull up my Insta Snap face, why is my phone not working? I just want to play BDM videos. Hold on. Okay. Dude, what is my phone doing? What is it? June 3rd, Apple's releasing a new phone in 2 months. Who knew that it started going sideways? Okay. All right, let's see. What do we have from BDM? Here's BDM.
Timothy, you did it again. You really think Victor Wembanyama overcame the referees unbelievably flopping, put up with all this bullshit, came out of the West, the new fucking sheriff, Victor Wembanyama, and he looked pretty damn good with a cowboy hat on.
No, he didn't. Hey,
player! We are on the cusp of the 2026 NBA Finals. And in good faith as being a God-fearing man, I cannot bet you on these finals. Because it's Victor Wembanyama, the man that gives Freddy Krueger permission to go back to Elm Street. Because he's on the prowl. He's going to be a New York nightmare. New York's in a lot of trouble.
Oh,
And they already have that guy saying free things. Victor's just going to be another guy
Talking
saying
about the mayor?
free ass kicking. And then he's going to challenge the best minds in New York to chest and beat all their asses. We're talking Victor fucking Wembanyama. Let me tell you something. In 100 years, we're going to be dead.
Well, thank you.
My beautiful body's going to be eaten by maggots, but that's okay because I'm going to be with the Lord Jesus in heaven. But in 100 years, people are going to say, if Timothy would have listened to Big Daddy Magic, we could have been the super friends. Well, it's all right. Well, let me tell you something.
Tell me.
A little kid in the year 3035 is going to open a history book and read about how Victor Wembanyama, on the very first page, was the greatest athlete to ever live.
I'm sure. Okay, well, thanks for that. Do you guys understand that's what's in my inbox? And I haven't actually read the rest of my DMs in some time. But so what's the first one I see? I kid you not. Sending me a picture of himself in a TCU polo. What are you doing? It is what it is, man. It is what it is. This is what I have to deal with, and it just is what it is. Hey, look, Jake's frozen.
Nope, I'm good.
No, you're not.
Good.
But okay.
I mean,
well,
looks
not
whatever,
a
man.
up well.
Yeah. You know, I'm really glad that the power company could tell me that animals chewed through the power lines 2 days in a row, which obviously didn't have good effects for doing a live streaming show. So we're just dealing with it over here. So there you go. Ridiculous.
Jake decided he wanted to work. How was your drive down PDH eating, brownies stacked with weed? That's what you were doing, right? You were just out on a sabbatical.
I wake up just to go take drives and, have those brownies and do those things. So that's what I was doing. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. Everybody's happy to see Jake.
Yeah. Doing what I can.
It's fine. It's fine. Yeah. BDM for mayor of Doobieville. Bro, that's an even 100 today out of Calford. Even 100 out of Calford today.
Okay.
Well done. Well done. Frogfather says squirrels or beavers, Jake.
Dude, I have no idea. I was told animals. That was the excuse that was given. Yeah. Sorry, bro. Sorry. 2 days in a row, animals, chewed through the cabling was the verbiage that was used. Thanks, dude.
You okay? Am I the only one? Yeah. What did you say? Marcus says yes. Jake is freezing occasionally. Yeah,
whatever. Man.
Pete Thamel's reporting that all 16 Big 12 schools have signed on to the CSC participation agreement. Because what choice does the Big 12 have? And this is the haves and have-nots, I'm telling you right now. When we talk about this Cruz-Cantwell thing, and we talk about, the CSC, and you don't have a choice. You're along for the ride. If you're the ACC and the Big 12, you're along for the ride. The Big 12 simply is not making enough money.
Yeah, Jake, what are they going to do?
Jake, go buy a generator.
Dude, I literally, it's so funny you say that. I legitimately said, if this keeps happening, I'm going to buy a generator because I can't have this continue to happen. Like it's unbelievable, honestly. Like
Well, the problem is you
the one
don't
thing.
own your house. When you own your house, go buy a generator.
Yeah,
That's what I would tell you, right? Like,
Yeah.
so it doesn't, it's fine. It's fine. I think it's very interesting. I don't know. I think home ownership, don't get me started. That's a different show. That is a different show. Home ownership is so incredibly flawed. Jake, you're very short today. Come on, let's adjust the camera, get the shot framed up right. There you go. Now we're like our heads have to be even.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
You know.
Yeah.
You know. Yep. No beavers in Eugene, actually. There are a lot of beavers. Beaver. Okay. Yeah. Mowing the lawn is overrated. It is. Mm-hmm. I actually, you know what? It's funny. I have this rental property in Salt Lake City that I own. So the tree in the backyard is officially dead. So I'm going to have to pay $10 million to have that removed.
Damn.
But my property manager does a twice yearly inspection and they send us pictures. They're actually using my backyard for golf. I have a huge golf. It was a studio where I created a bunch of content. They are actually using my golf putting green and hitting area to play golf.
Who knew?
It brings me great joy. It brings me great joy.
At least somebody's using it, right?
Yeah, because Lord knows I'm not. It was about 80 degrees yesterday in Seattle. Today it's supposed to be 60. Tomorrow it's going to be pouring rain. Is what it is. This is a P2 world and we're just living in it. Okay. You know, I don't think it's all doom and gloom. Can we talk about the Aaron Donald trade?
Yes.
I'd rather talk about that than stupid Aaron Donald trade. Myles Garrett trade. I'd rather talk about that. Real quick, though, before we get too far away from this, because I want to make sure that we get to this Caitlin Clark story that I've been trying to get to for 2 days. Real quick. Why is everything Caitlin Clark controversial? I don't understand this whole thing with Caitlin Clark and why there's so much drama around her on the floor. You never hear from her off the court. You see her in a ton of commercials. She plays a ton of golf. So you see her show up in golf videos. But why is there always controversy with her on the floor? Did you guys see this thing with Caitlin Clark and her coach? They unquestionably had an argument on the bench. I mean, they were yapping back and forth at each other. And I don't understand, for instance, Skip Bayless. Skip Bayless got taken to the woodshed by a fake account that put out that the Fever were going to fire their coach for yelling at Caitlin Clark. And Skip went crazy about it. And then, of course, because it was an unbelievable troll job, and it was, because it was never true. Because, as I always say, the argument with coaches is not irregular. It happens all the time. It's not something that people are getting fired over but what is amazing to me is that this argument with Skip Bayless and Caitlin Clark and the coach, and she should be fired, and how dare she talk to Caitlin like that? Like, why is Caitlin Clark always in the middle of controversy?
Because she's good. That's why. Because she's the best player in the NBA or WNBA. And, you know, I think that people, you know, when your best players are arguing with their coaches or whatever's going on, people are always going to find a way to talk about it. I mean, it's the, you know, if you look at other sports, it's like, you know, the drama around AJ Brown at one point, or like any good player that's arguing with with their coach or has anything going on. You know, we're always going to try to find a way to talk about it. But I do think it's funny that, you know, hot take guys get trolled by fake Twitter accounts about, you know, what is or isn't happening. That's always entertaining.
Well, and it's been widespread. But I think it's more than Caitlin Clark is good. I don't know how to break it to people. I don't think she's controversial because she's good. I don't know if she's here for the fight. I don't know if it's because she enjoys the battle. I don't know. But at some point, you've got to stop messing with her and just allow her to thrive. I understand why, like, somebody counted the social media pictures and Sophie Cunningham is like 3.5, 4 to 1 to Caitlin Clark. Sophie Cunningham's hot as hell and is a model and likes to show you her body. Who do you think they're going to promote? Dude, Jake and I played basketball with Sophie Cunningham and lost miserably. But that's not really the point. The point is Sophie Cunningham's beautiful. They're going to promote. She's 6-something and blonde. They're going to promote her. Like, that doesn't need to be controversial in any way, shape, or form. Do you ever think about Caitlin Clark?
No, not until I see highlights or, you know, but not unless there's a reason to, you know, be watching her on the floor or whatever it might be. I mean, I think it's, you know, certainly it's fun to watch what she does. And I think that, you know, again, I think Caitlin Clark is someone who obviously changed the WNBA, right? I mean, she had a similar effect on the WNBA that Steph Curry did in the NBA, in the sense that they're both people and players who can shoot it from forever and make it regularly. And that, sure, that obviously changes the game. And I think obviously we saw her go through a bunch of physical battles on the floor, and, you know, people try to get after her, and that still happens from time to time. But I mean, I just think people know her name and what she does because she is really good. But then I think you're right. It goes like a step further, you know, into this area where it's like, if anytime anything happens, there's always a lot made of it. You know, there's always a lot of coverage of it. So, I mean, it's part of the territory in a sense, but I would also agree that I do feel like people obviously are, you know, they're negative more than they need to be about whatever it might be. So, you know, it does get tiring.
I get worn out on it. Yeah. I don't. In the comments section, does Caitlin Clark, how often, if ever, does Caitlin Clark cross your mind? I would say almost never. Almost never does Caitlin Clark cross my mind at all. Myles Garrett's an LA Ram. And I want to harken back to, do you guys remember when they drafted Ty Simpson and how pissed off Sean McVay looked? Does he seem pissed off in this clip?
It was just a conversation, and it didn't take too much.
Conversation and a couple bucks?
Maybe more than a couple, but he was open to it, and I understood that, you know, there have been some other numbered trades, you know, before me, so I based my decision off of that. But no, he understood, and I'm glad to be sticking with 95.
I'm going to say that Myles Garrett and Sean McVay are very happy to be together. Look at the first 5 seconds of Sean McVay. Only look at Sean McVay.
It's just a conversation. And
how come? Why does my wife not longingly look through me like that?
It's just a conversation. And
I need that kind of smile energy in my life. My wife has not smiled at me like that in probably, what have we been together, 30 years? She hasn't smiled at me like that in 30 years, ever. Mm-hmm. Right? Mainly because I'm an ogre. But that's not really the point. The point is Sean McVay seems to be lovingly blinking at Aaron Donald.
It's a conversation. And
Myles Garrett. And then there's Aaron Donald.
Here's what I'd say. You talk to Aaron and you see what he's saying about that. But Here's what I would tell you guys overall too is, Aaron's a guy that I stay really close in touch with, and I know the respect that he has for Miles. Talk to him about the opportunity to be able to bring him on board. If Aaron decides he wants to dust him off at the age of 35, I bet you he could still do it at a pretty high clip. But here's what I would tell you guys too. The one thing that's great about Miles, we're not going to ask him to do anything other than be himself. And take it a day at a time, be totally and completely present. The last time, you guys remember who the Super Bowl favorites were last season, right? No, you don't. Nobody remembers, okay? So the point I'm making is like, hey, it's a fun narrative right now, but we're going to be inside out. We're going to earn it every single day. We had our first 11 on 11 today, and there's a lot of growth that we need to be able to have as a football team.
One, I think Aaron Donald wants to come back. I follow him on socials. Dude, I'm telling you, he works out every day, but he's got some vigor in it right now. And I think when you look at Myles Garrett for the Rams is huge. And I know I waxed on about this yesterday on the show about what a good decision this is from the Cleveland Browns, and it is. This is such a home run trade for the Rams. I don't know how this goes afoul. And now that the Hammond, Indiana Bears have appeared, it does kind of feel like I'm going to be a Rams fan. Maybe I'll get that Myles Garrett jersey.
Yeah, 95.
As a full-grown adult, it should be illegal for me to wear somebody's jersey. But my point is
illegal.
My point is, I think Myles Garrett's a home run for the Rams.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really know how it would be anything other than that, and I think that Aaron Donald was looking for a reason. I think we've all speculated about like, hey, this guy stepped away, but he is working out all the time. He does appear to be still in great football shape and able to return whenever he might want to. And I also think that it helps that he's an edge guy. He's not a quarterback. He's not somebody that's like, leading your offense or in that type of position. So I think, Aaron Donald could easily come back and they could easily have both of these guys just causing chaos. And I think that, trading for Myles Garrett, knowing that Aaron Donald has a higher probability of coming back because of it, only invigorates the rest of the roster. If you're, whoever you want to point to, you want to look at the rest of the defense, you want to look at Matthew Stafford, whoever, all these guys are thrilled about this. I mean, how could you not be? So I just think that you were able to win a Super Bowl, and now you're trying to double down on that and put yourself in a great position. And I understand that Myles Garrett and the Browns obviously had their differences, and that was kind of a saga. But I just still think like, yeah, it's a good trade for the Browns. Obviously, they got good value back, but I just don't love the idea that the Browns once again are in this position where you basically traded the face of your franchise in Myles Garrett, and now you're looking at a contract with a guy like Deshaun Watson that somehow is still on the roster and somehow has still come back from the injuries. So it's still, I think, a really interesting time if you're a Browns fan.
I think this is exactly what they should be doing. I have no idea how you have any argument to the contrary. This is a home run in every way, shape, and form for the Cleveland Browns. I think getting rid of Myles Garrett at this point, when you're not close to a Super Bowl, you get a first-round pick, you get a young player in Jared Verse, and this gives you the opportunity to clarify your quarterback room. This is nothing short of shockingly good football out of the Browns. And Andrew Berry, who I think is embattled as their general manager, I think needed this win.
On the block, you weren't auctioning him off. If there have been reports that this was the only team that you seriously engaged in talks, why not open up the bidding and try to get a few more picks out of it?
That wasn't the goal. That wasn't the goal of Myles. And probably what I mentioned on the onset, if we were to trade Myles, it's a very narrow universe of deals that satisfy it. Everyone wants to have a Myles Garrett on their team, but not everyone can afford that acquisition cost in terms of players, picks and dollars. And so, that was not the intent of any of it.
You're not trading Myles Garrett to Cincinnati. You're not trading Myles Garrett to nobody bad football team in Carolina. You're not trading Myles Garrett to just crappy football team. You're not trading him to the Vikings. Myles Garrett has earned the right through his performance to live in a very small, select number of NFL cities of his choosing. And I understand that Andrew Berry's not the most popular GM right now, and I understand that the Browns are not the most popular football team in Cleveland. And there have been controversies. This is not one of them. You got a first-round pick and Jared Verse in return. How is that even questionable as a bad deal?
Yeah, I mean, the deal itself is really good. I think the deal itself speaks for itself. I mean, I don't like. I completely agree with you on that. I think that the part that is interesting to me is just when you get away from the deal for a second and you look at the Browns as an organization. I think it's interesting that you talk about clarifying their quarterback room. With this. I mean, I guess Deshaun's going to be your guy. Obviously Deshaun has that deal. You want that deal to work out. You'd hope to get some value out of that deal. But I just don't, obviously nobody has faith that he's going to be the same guy that he was in Houston. And I don't think it's fair to expect that out of him at this point in his career with the injuries and where he's been. And
do you have to have the same conversation at the same time? Do you have to, are the two mutually exclusive?
Well, I mean, I think when you make a trade like this and you move on from Myles Garrett, it brings up a lot of the other questions around the roster. I mean, you did a good deal. I agree. Half the time in sports, it's like what happened with Bryce Harper back in the day, where the Nationals get nothing for him and he leaves. He leaves in free agency. You didn't want that to happen with Myles Garrett, and now you've done a really good job getting value back. But then after that's done, and after we all agree that that's a good deal, now we can move on to well. You've got Jared Verse, you've got, and then you have this quarterback room and you've got the rest of the roster. What can this team do? Or where at what point do the Browns start to move forward and start to make progress in the win column? I think that's what people are trying to understand.
It's not like they're making a bad decision with their quarterbacks. I mean, nobody in that quarterback room has earned the right to be the starter. Like, nobody. Frankly, probably only Shedeur has earned the right to compete.
Mm-hmm.
But you're not you have an asset in Deshaun Watson. What are you just going to do? Leave him sit there?
Well, I mean, I think we all talked about, I mean, I agree that you're not just trying to leave him sit there. But I think at one point there was definitely a thought of like, hey, like this guy's done. Like the injury, like he did his Achilles. Like there was a time I remember where it was like, hey, dude, this guy's probably done, man. Good luck coming back from this. And I think that it's a really interesting, story when you look at what Shedeur was able to do last year, where this team is at, the fact that you gave Deshaun that number one, that big of a deal, but then obviously fully guaranteed. I just think there's questions about it. I think people wonder like, what is it going to wind up looking like? I mean, is it actually going to be a thing where the Browns are able to, take the momentum off this deal, a really good deal, and parlay that into the season? And, with Todd Monken as your head coach, like, will that happen, or will this just be another lost season for the Browns? That's what I think people are wondering.
Yeah, we'll see. I think you have to take it one move at a time. I don't think that you can be, I don't think that this Myles Garrett trade is a home run. It's a grand slam. It is a walk-off home run. Like it's everything that you needed.
Mm-hmm.
And I just don't see how it's any worse than that. I don't. The Vikings should trade JJ. Well, he's getting outplayed by verticality. Lil Buddy's outplaying him something terrible. Kyler Murray is running circles around JJ McCarthy.
Yeah, JJ's not doing himself any favors with the media, right? I mean, you guys saw that clip. I was at, I don't know if that was last week or the week before, where, they're both asked the same question by the media, like, hey, how's the relationship between you two guys? And Kyler gives like this really veteran answer about supporting each other and, wanting everyone to have success. And JJ's like, yeah, we're just two guys in the classroom, trying to study, and we're doing what the coaches asked us to do. Like he doesn't help himself in the media or on the field. And so when you talk about trading him, I mean, I'm not exactly sure that there would even be a lot of trade value for JJ McCarthy at this point.
Yeah, I think that JJ McCarthy sucks ass.
Yeah.
As I've said forever. He was never an NFL quarterback, and drafting him where the Vikings drafted him, bad people making bad decisions.
Facts.
Which I think is exactly who we are in this world now. That is a bad decision. A bad decision. And it's going to take you a long time to recover from it. Again, trading for Kyler Murray is not the worst mistake you could have made. It's probably what you needed. He needed out of Phoenix. You needed a quarterback. I think you got that. Bailey Dietrich's very happy to see you, Jake.
Man, that's great. It's good to see you, Bailey.
You know, Jake's very excited to see you. Now, on the flip side, the A.J. Brown trade is a head scratcher for the Patriots. I don't love this trade at all. I think all of the clips out there of him dropping wide open passes, especially the ones where he spent a month bitching and moaning about not getting the football, and then Jalen puts it right on the number and he dropped it. And you listen to Mike Vrabel talking about A.J. Brown, you react.
Well, I mean, again, whatever happens or comes up, I think that I can't say that there's not going to be things that come up with A.J., with, any single player, right? I think that this is a competitive game, highly competitive. Players want to win. Players want to do everything that they can to help their team. They want to make sure that people are on the right page. So I don't get into a lot of that. I think that what's the most important is that, those things don't carry into the locker room, that they get handled. You see that all the time on the sidelines. We want to have conversations in the meeting room. We want to have conversations at practice. And, sometimes those conversations are animated, but it's all in the sake of trying to get on the same page and get right. So, again, I don't know what happened. I'm not trying to figure out what happened in Philadelphia. I'm trying to focus on what's going to happen here and trying to get him acclimated.
Well, my question is what happened in Sedona. I know what happened in Sedona. But my
Why
point
do you guys
is,
want to keep talking about that? It's not a big deal.
Because now when I see Mike Vrabel, I think about sex.
So wait, Mike, just a quick question, Mike. Just asking for a friend. So you're telling us we shouldn't be concerned about a drama-filled receiver from Philly coming to your squad playing under a coach who had a massive offseason scandal. No, we shouldn't be worried about that at all. There's nothing to see here, guys. No problems at all, dude. Come on,
What?
Mike.
He went to therapy. Who are you, Brandon Sorsby?
Come on, dude. Good
Right?
Lord.
I mean, I don't see what the problem is.
So I was very happy to have this day in court for Brandon. He deserves.
I mean, I don't know what the issue is. Listen, Mike and Big Nose Kate smashing for years. That's cool. I just am worried that A.J. Brown won't catch the football from Drake May, even though he's telling people he's had a New England Patriots rug in his crib for years. Like, it's weird. A.J. Brown is weird. The whole thing is weird. I hate this fit for that team. And you have to go out and replace guys like Steph Diggs and totally get it. But I don't know. I also don't believe that Mike Vrabel's controversial. I don't think we can sit here and joke about him and Big Nose Kate smashing for years. And I believe they did in Saboner. But my point is, why would you bring a guy like A.J. Brown into that situation now?
I mean, you got me. I mean, I saw the NFL talking heads yesterday saying that they were going to have one of the best offenses in the league, and Drake May is, if he performs. But it is weird, dude. And I Look, I think that Vrabel has proven to do this year that he can move on from the Rossini thing in the offseason. And I think he's doing everything that he can do, right? All jokes aside, I think the guy's doing everything he can do. But at the same time, it's not as easy as just, just forget about what happened in the offseason. I mean, you're right. Like when I stand there or when I sit here and I look at him standing there talking about AJ Brown, I am thinking like, yeah, you're sitting here telling us that you're not that concerned and that you're just concerned about what happens on the field and making sure issues don't bleed into the locker room. And yeah, you mean like your issues bleeding into the locker room? You mean like how you had to address the team because of your issues in the offseason? Like it's not the same, dude. You don't just get that free pass anymore when in terms of image and character. Yes, I agree. Heavy ass sigh. I agree completely with that.
Get over yourself.
100%.
That situation in that locker room is over. Him smashing Big Nose Kate for years in Saboner is not it. When we get to fall camp, it doesn't change the fact that what are the Patriots? I think the Patriots are 12th in odds to win the Super Bowl. They're going to be very good. AJ Brown helps that.
The victory has already been won.
Mike Vrabel and Diana Rossini, it has no impact on them winning the Super Bowl. I just don't believe that.
The hoe, and I want that known.
If he had gotten caught smashing her in a post-game interview and they had left the camera on, a la Rachel Nichols, okay, we're having a different conversation. But this was the summer. They were in the off season. They were enjoying all of the accoutrements of Saboner. Right? Like, are we really believing that, Mike Vrabel had sex with Diana Rossini? Yeah, we can't convert this third down. What? I don't buy that for a second. He's a very, very good head coach. And I don't, yeah. AJ was going for a feng shui vibe with his Patriots rug. Yeah, it's what Brandon said. Bro, dude, that rug really tied the room together. Right? Yes, Sedona is Pound Town. Yes, Saboner is Pound Town.
But only if you go to resorts that are allegedly private in nature.
Why are we so obsessed with sex, dude? Like, I am amazed. You're such a weirdo, dude. Like, you immediately, when you played that Vrabel bite, and when you were cutting that Vrabel bite in your house with no power, you were like, oh, dude, we're going to talk about Diana Rossini's rack. Oh, my God. Saboner, Arizona jokes for days, bro.
Yeah, bro. Yes.
Why?
Smile.
What is the obsession?
Because, dude, you can't just ignore the fact you're standing there watching dude preach at us and coach speak the hell out of this thing about how he's not worried about drama and, any type of issue. And he's also the same guy that in the offseason had drama and big time issue. I mean, you can't I can't just skip over that, dude. Like, how am I supposed to just ignore that?
Yeah, I don't.
Listen, I agree with you that it's not going to prevent them from converting a third down or being a good football team on the field. I wouldn't guess. I would be shocked if it did. But
dude, every one of the bros in that locker room would have happily smashed Big Nose Kate for years if they had the opportunity.
Yes, I agree with that. 100%.
Yes, Brandon Butler. Most of those guys probably wanted to high five the coach.
I agree.
Oh my God, my guy, can you tell me? Hey, Mike, I need to know.
I don't live in a what if scenario.
It's a Hallmark Sunday night show. Big Nose Kate falls in love and gets her heart broken.
Yeah, that's what they should run on the first episode of Sunday Night Football this year, dude.
No, what they should run is her OnlyFans channel on Hard Knocks. That's what they should run. The problem is this is all work. It's much like Bobby Kraft getting a J job at the Jade Garden or whatever it was. This is all we're going to talk about.
Orchids of Asia Spa.
Same thing. right? And the best part of this whole thing is yesterday we didn't even get to the best picture we've seen in how long?
Here I am.
She trolled you idiots again, and you fell for it. She put up another picture of her resting her laurels on Billy's shoulder, and we all laughed it up.
Yep.
I don't even remember what's her last name. Jordan Hudson. I'm amazed. First of all, no, they are not. You cannot tell. This is a granddaughter grandfather relationship.
You okay? Okay.
Macaque.
Once a week, once a month, twice a year.
Twice a year,
dude. Like, I can't even imagine this. I don't want to imagine this.
Listen, there's pills for that, dude. There's pills for that.
No, the thing is, I don't believe he needs it.
Length and girth.
My guess is Buddy is ready to go 24/7. That's my guess. Buddy's ready to go.
Yeah. I mean, maybe so, dude. I don't know. We've had our meltdowns over Jordan Hudson and the hoodie, dude. And I just, that again, weirdos. Yeah, you can't unsee it, dude. You can't.
Our boy Hugh was plowing every day until, yeah, man. My belief is,
I personally believe
Mike Vrabel and Diana Rossini were in love. And I think that's why you have not heard from her. I think you have not heard from Diana Rossini because she is dealing with a broken heart. And I think Diana Rossini is that she would not be able to sit on a video podcast with whoever and not cry over it.
I agree with that. Yeah, I do agree with that.
And I just don't think that you can. If you're Diana Rossini, can you really make the argument that it was just an affair? It was a fling.
No.
Because that's so bad for your credibility. You were in love. This was going on for years.
Do you think she ever gets to a point where she can talk about it? Because, I agree right now it would be really tough for her to just roll up on a set and just get into it. That would be difficult.
I don't think anybody believes that this was just a one-off. I don't think that anybody I believe that this was years long.
Yeah.
And you look at the look on their face in those pictures we always used to show, or when they're on the roof and she's got her head down and they're holding hands, that is a passionate reunion.
Mm-hmm.
And they attempted to make babies that night.
I'm so bricked up right now.
And I think that's what this is. That's what he looks devastated over it. When you look at him and you understand what's very clear to me, in my opinion, is neither one of them is heartbroken about their marriage. They're heartbroken about each other.
Yet somehow are still married.
And that is the scarlet letter you will carry. Because you're never getting over this. And again, I've been married for 25 years. Damn, dog. And in 3 weeks, I'll be married for 25 years. I don't know what that kind of pain is like.
Yeah.
But I would imagine if your heart is truly broken like that, that can't be something you get over in a couple of months. I can't believe, I don't know how you.
Well, and it's like, it's deep too, because it's not a thing where it's just, it's just
it's
a
deep,
private
Monty.
matter.
It is what
Let me tell you, it's deep. And it bends to the left.
I need a dick.
Anyway, you could have chosen
There
better
are
words.
layers to this here.
I've heard that about Diana.
Story. So they don't get the benefit of getting over it in private the way most of us would. And that's the crazy part with Vrabel.
What's that?
Well, just that he because I agree that they're more upset that their little thing, their side affair situation ended than they are about their marriages. And Vrabel and Jen being able to just seemingly move forward and do whatever it is that they're doing is wild. I mean, that's, it's just, you don't, I was genuinely surprised that it didn't just go to instant divorce.
Yeah. Ooh, Scoop said his heart broken. He said it's rough. Have you ever had your heart broken, Jake?
Not on that level. No. I mean, I think that there have been, when you're in the moment, when you're doing things in the moment, you probably, you feel a certain type of way, but I've never, I can't imagine what that level of, hey, we've been doing this for years and years and years, and we've both been married for years and years and years, and now we're getting just publicly roasted. And there's pictures that I believe they have no idea what else is out there or what other stuff people have to release.
Well, they didn't try to hide it. They got photographed at a bar feeling each other up. It's not like they were trying to hide it.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know.
That rooftop rendezvous, the smash and grab, as I affectionately call it, that's rough, dude. Yeah. I personally believe that we as U.S. Americans are unable to ignore sex stories because we're a bunch of pervs. We are a bunch of Americans. Right? Brandon Butler, I think she needs to keep her mouth shut. Really?
Wow. Tell us how you really feel, bro.
If she ever wants to work in the media again, and I doubt you want a divorce lawyer being able to play an interview in court, I think she needs to do an interview. How do you just start talking NFL inside stories? Well, I was talking to Sean McVay. Yeah, we bet you were.
What's an erection?
Yeah, we bet you were. Because that's all she's going to get now. And it's really unfortunate, dude, because I don't believe, my opinion, and it's not changed on this. And of course, because Mike Vrabel video was played, we have to talk about him smashing Big Nose Kate for years. I believe that she did not sleep her way around the NFL. I don't buy that.
No.
I don't believe that. I think her and Mike Vrabel fell in love. And where did it start? How did it start? I don't believe also that she was having sex with Mike Vrabel so that he would give her information. I don't believe that.
Yeah, most people believe it started when he was in Tennessee. That's the common
she
belief.
wanted him to give her something. It wasn't information.
Right.
I don't think but it's who we are as dudes. She's never going to get away from that. She will always now be an object of sexual glean. I just, she probably earned that on some level, but I don't know. It is what it is. All right. Knicks, Spurs, Jake, who are you rooting for in this series?
I mean, I'm rooting for the Knicks. I unequivocally, I'm not a Victor Wembanyama fan. Never have been. I'm not a Knicks fan, but because this is the NBA Finals that we get, I want the Knicks to win this series. I think it's great for VW that he's already here at this point in his career. I'm really glad that they beat the Thunder, but I'm rooting for the Knicks, no doubt.
So you want the Knicks to win this series?
I do. Yeah, I think
is
it would be really
because
good
you
for the
hate
league.
the Spurs, or?
Yeah, I mean, I've hated the Spurs since Kobe was playing the Spurs for sure. But generally speaking, I'm not a VW fan. I mean, I like his messaging. I like what he's talking about, at least, because I think we went on a run here in the NBA playoffs where, over the last several seasons, guys who have been eliminated have said that there's no such thing as failure in the league. And that's just not true. Like Giannis, I think it was 2 years ago, said there's no such thing as failure. And, you always learn something. And, you've got Donovan Mitchell, James Harden, and Kenny Atkinson all saying, oh, we didn't fail. We learned something, or I'm good, or whatever. So I like that Victor has talked about that there's that his whole life depends on winning an NBA championship. I think that was a refreshing change from the usual narrative. However, I've said for 2 seasons now that the NBA desperately needs big market teams to do what big market teams do, which is win NBA championships. And I think it would be very fitting that Larry Brown, or Mike Brown, not Larry, Mike Brown, comes out and gets hired. And then, everyone's like, well, why are you guys hiring him? He wasn't your first choice. You wanted this guy, you wanted that guy. Nobody thought he was going to get to the NBA Finals. And now all of a sudden, he's playing for the NBA Finals. He's playing for a championship. And it's the Knicks. I mean, I just don't like the league needs the Knicks to win this title for sure.
And I think the biggest story this morning has just come across my phone.
Oh, boy. What do we got?
Arina Sabalenka ousted from the French Open.
Really?
And I don't know how to continue talking about the NBA Finals if somebody Sabalenka-'d me. And
I'll see you in Valhalla.
Where's your guy Alcatraz, dude?
He's not playing Sabalenka, I can tell you that.
You don't even know what the French Open is. I thought you were a tennis guy now.
Yeah, I mean, I like tennis for sure. Yeah, the problem is Carlos Alcaraz, whoever you're going to call him, is hurt with a wrist injury, I believe it is. So he didn't play at Roland Garros, and I haven't been watching the French Open, so it's unfortunate. Okay,
Sabalenka's out, Jake. It's a huge story,
tough, dude.
I'm all about the Knicks in this series. I want the Knicks to win. I think it's great for the NBA. I think in a league where stars do not exist, the Knicks are the best example of that.
Mm-hmm.
The Knicks don't have a star player.
Well, what would you call Jalen Brunson?
Invisible. Is Jalen Brunson a really good player? Yes. But as soon as they turn the cameras off, I won't think about him until they turn the cameras back on for game 2.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. I don't disagree with that.
And it's the same thing with Victor Wembanyama. I do not lose a minute of sleep over anything he says or does because he doesn't speak the language I speak, so I can't relate to him. That's the single biggest issue. He cannot communicate to a fan base. It's just beyond. Yao Ming, again, I think is a really good example. Yao Ming at least had a global appeal. Victor Wembanyama, the better example is probably Tim Duncan. Because Tim Duncan was a phenomenal college player, a phenomenal NBA player, and I think he was largely invisible. And I think he got away with that because of Jordan and Kobe and Shaq and LeBron.
Right.
Victor Wembanyama doesn't have Jordan, Kobe, Shaq, Magic, and Larry. You don't have those guys. This league does not have those players. This league does not have those personalities. And the disgusting, embarrassing display that OKC put on the last 2 years, I think is very, very bad. Very, very bad. It just is really brutal to me where the NBA is, because I have to find a reason to want to watch this NBA final.
Mm-hmm.
And again, I'm going to tell you, the Stanley Cup final game 1 last night was tremendous. Tremendous. The Golden Knights were down 2-0, and I thought it was over. And then they immediately answered. And then I'm trying to pass my real estate exam. And so I'm studying. I actually turned that game I muted it. And I'm taking this 80-question national test, and I look back up. It's 5-4. And I'm telling you, that shot blocked to end the game by the Golden Knights, tremendous. Absolutely tremendous. Well, the Bears season is already over. Caleb is on the Madden cover. Yeah, I saw that.
Oh, God. Is he really?
He's one of many. He's one of many. Tom Dean, the Knicks haven't won a championship since I was a kid, and I'm an old white here, so I'm cheering for them. Totally agree. Totally agree. Les Wemby, Cest Mongars. Okay. Whatever that means.
Whatever that means, dude. Thanks.
No idea. Matt Muldoon. I grew up a Knicks fan, but not in the current NBA, so I won't pretend to be a fraud. New York will burn if they win. I thought it was going to burn because of who they elected mayor. Is that not the case? Okay. Anyway, too much? Probably too much.
Probably too much.
Probably too
whatever.
much.
Whatever.
Probably too much.
Yeah.
Selectively aggressive.
I'm all about the Knicks. Just something about a long-suffering team getting over the hump makes for good feeling and stories. And it's the Knicks.
Yeah. I mean, it's New York. It's the Knicks. I mean, I mean, what else is there really to say?
I think the NBA needs it desperately.
And I also think that it's nice that it's the Knicks and it's not LeBron. I have to say, like, I don't have a vendetta against LeBron, but I feel like the league's storyline and narrative for so long in the playoffs has been dominated by LeBron James. And I just think that I think that this NBA Finals will do TV numbers for sure because it's the Knicks. I think that I'm hoping that these are good games. I'm hoping they're competitive games. I really hope that Ref Show doesn't find a way to ruin these games and just do what they've done for a lot of these games, because it is a totally different experience watching anything non-OKC. The officiating in NBA games is different when it's not OKC. So hopefully we get good games, but there's no escaping what you just said there 2 minutes ago about the NHL. The NHL is a superior playoff product right now. There's just no question about it. And I think that Vegas being able to win that game on the road shocked a lot of people. I mean, Carolina is very good, like expected to win the Stanley Cup good. And that was, you couldn't really ask for a better game one out of that series at all.
Yeah, I agree. The squirrels, the squirrel is eating Jake's electricity cord again.
Literally.
Yeah, it's bad. It's bad news right now, Jake. So,
yeah,
how's your internet?
It's good. Yeah, it's fine.
Many people are complaining about your internet, Jake. Tell Jake to get the squirrels and beavers off of his internet cable while he's at it.
Yeah, sorry guys. I don't know what
Jake's
to tell
going
you.
through it.
Yeah, I mean, what's so interesting? I'm not denying it's happening, but I can't see it on my side. I haven't seen any blips or anything. So it is. I have really good internet, but clearly, I don't know what to tell you. It is what it is.
Going through it, Jake.
Yeah,
and still no decorations on the wall, which is probably the most disappointing thing.
Yeah, I'm moving with pods this time, and our pod's not going to be here till the 13th. So we got a long way to go here. So
has fiber optics come to KC yet? And did Jake consider that before the move, bro? He's got lightning.
I have
fast
Google
internet. Fiber,
2,000 megabytes up and down, and it's still happening. So I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to tell you. I invest heavy in it. Like it's.
What are you paying for that every month?
$100. $100 a month.
Wow. No kidding.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I am. That's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
We take how for granted do we take internet? Do you think?
Well, I mean, I've been humbled the last 2 days. I mean, how for granted do we take internet? How for granted do we take the power? I mean, it's crazy to me. But one in this, and I got this from you, obviously. But one of the biggest pet peeves I have in life is when you're paying for service and you just can't reliably get it, and it drives me nuts. And it's like, you're like, Google Fiber's been great so far. Monday was like a perfect show. Nobody complained, no issues, like nothing. And overall, it's been great. I haven't seen any issues on my side. You guys are seeing it, so I don't know. But like the power going out is just that was one where I was like, dude, like I understand one day, but like 2 days in a row is crazy. I mean, I like, and it's wild that it of course has to happen 20 minutes before the show starts, which is more frustrating, So it just, it just sucks when it's something that's out of your control. You do everything you can do and it just happens. So whatever.
We take a lot of things for granted. Internet is definitely one of them. I want to see this squirrel mounted on Jake's wall as a new decor.
Yeah, I don't think you're going to see that, dude. Sorry, man. I don't think you're going to see that. I can get you a tortilla if you want, but you're not going to see a squirrel.
Okay.
So.
Okay. Yeah. Time to get the house and put a ring on it, bro.
Yeah, that probably won't help my internet connection or the power company's ability to deliver power to the house.
Okay. I'm with you on that. All right. The Monty Show, as always, presented by The Advocates at theadvocates.com. Are you going to have power tomorrow, do you think, Jake?
I told you yes, I would yesterday, and then I didn't have power. So I don't know what to tell you guys, man. I am.
Let's hope for better power and better internet tomorrow.
Yeah.
How about that?
Yeah.
The Monty Show, presented by The Advocates at theadvocates.com, the best injury attorneys in the business, who remind you again, it is the 100 most deadly days on the road. Slow down. Take out the distractions. Be aware. Put the phone down when you're driving. But if the worst happens, get the best at theadvocates.com, where you never reach into your pocket to pay the advocates, because you don't pay the advocates unless and until they win your case. So go get clear, risk-free advice right now at theadvocates.com. Until tomorrow, say goodbye, Beaver.
Goodbye, Beaver.